I am Hubert de Boüard. I'm co-owner of Château Angélus, and I am also a wine consultant. I would like to give you a few information about the weather condition, in 2019, sorry. And to start with a very good reserve in water in the soil. We got during the winter, which was very, very good. We will talk about that for the rest of the year. And then a very important thing that we had a good flowering. The flowering is very important to have the good ripeness in the second term. Then after, it's really a vintage in two parts. We can say the spring starts really in the beginning of March and finish in June, and then the summer starts with very dry weather condition. People talk about very hot. I should say it's not heat waves. It was very warm, but especially very dry. This is a reason that the soil with a great capacity to provide water was certainly a good element for quality. During the summer, at the end of August, we can see in the vineyard that the growing stopped and everything was concentrated on the grapes, which was very, very good. And fortunately, we got some very good rain. It was like a magic period just before the harvest in mid-September, which start again to do not have too high alcohol content in the wine, and to start with also the polyphenol maturation, to start again and to have a good end of maturation. Then, what about the harvest? The harvest has been done in very good condition, that we could pick the block step by step. We had no rush, and we picked the Merlot from the September 20 to the end of September, then after the Cabernet Franc for Angélus. And normally the Cabernet Sauvignon in beginning of October. Well, in very good health, because we didn't have any rot, any botrytis. It was very good condition, and when you could see the grapes, no burn grapes. It was very fresh. That the consequence is the fruits in the wine. The color of the 2019 is just very black, very, very dark, and very brilliant. And then in terms of nose, flavor, it's on the fruits. I could say it's a basket of black fruits, like a black cherries nose. It's very interesting because it's very with some acidity, because the characteristic of the vintage 2019 that we have higher acidity and lower pH, because it's like that, than 2018, which is for me very, very good for long aging. I could say this is a very classic vintage, Bordeaux vintage, very traditional, very classic Bordeaux vintage, but with a touch of tannins, which is very rounded, very velvet, very well balanced. And then after, because we have very good pH, the end of the tasting, it's very fresh, it's very, we have tension. This is a vintage I love. I could say for me, in my memory, it's very difficult to compare, but I could say maybe in my memory 2001 was like that. And many people forgot 2001. Everybody talk about 2000 and forgot 2001. But I am sure that 2019 will be one of the on the top vintage in Bordeaux, and especially a vintage which could give a great pleasure for the consumer. It's really a very good adequation with a wine which gives pleasure. Long potential aging, but a lot of pleasure, because I can talk about the three big points. The fruits, because it's just amazing. I can say I never had this kind of fruits so intense. The quality of tannins, very balanced, very round, very velvet. And then after the end of the tasting, the freshness, the tension, which is really the great vintage for me for Bordeaux. Well, it's a little bit too early to talk that it's amazing wine, but certainly for me, it will be in the top wines I vinified in 35 years as a winemaker.